Hello and welcome back. It's Isaiah Henry with Isaiah Henry Real Estate, and today's or this week's deal of the week, we're going to be looking at another triplex in Oshawa. I'll run some numbers, show you my assumptions, and get a good idea of what this property would look like for an investment. As always, if you have any questions, real estate or otherwise, feel free to reach out to me. A number is in the description, or you can find me all over social media at Isaiah Henry Real Estate. Let's get it. So these are the photos to get it. So it's actually a semi-detached property that is a tribe that has 3 units in it. Some two access from the front, one access from the front, and two access from the rear. Pretty good internal. Again, it's still rental grade. Like I wouldn't say this is anything above average or anything crazy, but definitely worth it getting done. So if we jump over to the numbers, asking price on this property is 650,000, and I'll run the numbers at 650 to start, and then we'll go into actually what I think it should be purchased at. So 650 after repair value is going to be around the same. No major. There's not going to be a major lift. We're not burning this property or doing any heavy value add off the top. We're going to purchase the price with the minimum down payment. So if you look at our minimum down payment at 650, it would be 6.15%. And we'll amortize that over 30 years at a 4% interest rate. Again, you do have mortgage insurance, but for the purpose of this analysis, I'll just leave it out. So going into the purchase costs, what it's actually going to take. So you'll likely have a home inspection. I'll budget around 1,000 and 500 for an appraisal. Depending the lender you go with, you may or may not get an appraisal, or it may or may not be that price. Again, we're going traditional financing, so unlikely there'll be points or fees. Your land transfer tax on a property like this is 9,475,000. If you come back here, you can see the land transfer tax is there. I like Rate Hub to help with calculations. It's got great data. Attorney fees, 1,500 is more than adequate to close on this property. Again, if there's anything special, it might go up, but 1,500 is perfect to run your numbers there. And if you're a first-time home buyer, you will benefit from the first-time home buyer rebate of $4,000 off your land transfer tax, bringing your total closing cost to $8,475. Now, rehab, like I showed you in the pictures, property's in pretty good shape, so I always budget at least a little bit, $1,000, door handles, a little bit of paint here and there, whatever you need to do just to make sure the property is ready to rent. I'll put $1,000 there. Now for the rental income, these are 3 1-bedroom, 1-bath units. Now I have the MLS data to go over and get a really specific idea of what they would rent for. But in terms of running your numbers, I always say use a public source. This is Zumper. We'll give you some decent data. 1-bedroom apartments will rent on average for $1,600. Always take the conservative approach, underwrite a little bit less. So $1,600 is what I'm underrating for. If you want to write a little bit less or a little bit more, your numbers will reflect that. Vacancy is 5%. Now, based in Oshawa, you're going to be around 3 to 5% vacancy anyway. However, I guarantee my rents with single key, and their rental guarantee product is anywhere between 4 and 5.5%. So I'm comfortable with that, knowing that the tenants I bring in I will be qualifying them under the rental guarantee program. No other income on this, no storage or parking on this, so I'll leave that as zero. Operating expenses for this property, you'll have property taxes of $4,510. That's taken right from the MLS listing. Insurance about $250 a month. Now, even though you'll be owner occupying this, still kick out a little bit for property management and 10% maintenance and capex. Now, again, this is a slightly better. It's kept pretty well, so that's why I have the 5 and 10%. If you feel there'll be some additional maintenance and repairs, you can always bump that up to 7.5 each or higher. Utilities are going to be $300. This property is separately metered, so all the tenants pay their own utilities. We'll put $300 for your utilities per month. It's a small unit, so I wouldn't estimate anything higher than that. And also, you can split up your utilities with Utility Hub if you need any help doing that. I'd be happy to help you out there. Now, selling, again, you're going to do a modest 3% appreciation, 5% on the selling cost. Income and expenses will cancel out each other. And we'll take a look at what that property looks like numbers-wise. So not the best deal, but there are some good things here. So cash needed, you're under $50,000. If you can get into a triplex for under $50,000, especially in a market like Oshawa, Ontario, I think there's a big upside, especially if you're willing to hold that property for a little bit. It does cash flow, so even here it is a positive cash flow of $100 a month, which that means if you're owner occupying it, that $100 comes off what you would be paying in exchange for rent. So if you're paying $1,600 for your unit, you're cash flowing $100 on the property. You're actually reducing your monthly living cost by $105. Now, this is what I don't like: 5.6 cap, 2.5% cash on cash. Not the best deal. I don't know if that's the best way to use your money. Again, a house hack doesn't necessarily need to be the be all and end all, have the highest investment returns, because you're going to be living there and that comes with its own benefits. But I would still probably look for something a little bit higher than that, and I'll show you what that looks like. If we scroll down to some of the projections, I always like to use the 5-year projection, which is this column. On the investment side, you're looking at a 30% internal rate on return and a 259% return on investment. Again, not terrible numbers, but I definitely don't like being in the negative on year one. So what I will run is another analysis here, but we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to run it at 583,500. Now, the reason I did this because I did a little bit of work before, but I wanted to show you what the numbers look like. So I'll change the purchase price. We can even come up here and 583,500. You'll see your down payment goes down to 5.72. Bring it back here, 5.72. We'll leave the interest rate the same as well. We can change the land transfer tax to 8,145. Land transfer tax will be 8,145. And everything else will remain the same. So if we take a look at the numbers on this one, we're getting a little bit better than what I like to see. So again, we're still under 50,000 cash needed, $41,000. Your cash flow has almost quadrupled to nearly $400 a month, and now we're getting to that cash on cash number I like, 11.3%. Especially in a house hack, anything over 10% for me is good to go. So I like that number. If you can pick this up at 583,500, and honestly, based on the days on market, and if you have me negotiating for you, I don't see an issue picking it up there. If we come down to the 5-year investment numbers here, we're way better, way in line. 323% return on investment and 37.6% IRR. And remember, you're living there, so you're actually paying down equity yourself rather than contributing to rent. So I do love this option, especially as a house hack. And while I have you here, let's just get a little crazy. This would be like my be all end all. If I could pick it up for this would be a no-brainer. 575. That's what I would like to get this property at. If I was looking for this one myself, that's the number I would be targeting, 575. If we take a look at what that looks like on a monthly outlay, we can just change it here. Sorry, on a closing outlay, like how much cash would be needed. So you're going to bring your down payment to 5.65%. Not a huge reduction, but still enough. And then we'll check the land transfer tax, 7,975. What was that? Purchase cost, 7,975. Again, you're still getting that rebate. Now let's take a look at what we got. All right, not massive jumps here, but again, this is something I would be much, much, much satisfied with. $40,000 is all you need to get into this. Your cash on cash is over 12%, and you're netting almost 400 or just over $400 in cash flow. So again, think about if you were paying $1,600 in rent or $1,600 towards your living costs, you're actually going to be able to subtract $400 off that. So you're almost bringing your living expense down to under $1,200, which is, in my opinion, insane for Oshawa, Ontario. So a lot of great upsides here, and a lot of great ways for you to get into this investment, especially if you're looking to own or occupy or take it out as an investment. But while we're here, let me show you. We'll keep it at we'll just keep it at 575, but let's see it with a 20% down payment. Just so you guys have an idea of what that looks like. So 20% down payment, all we did is change that. So again, your cash on cash goes down because you have more cash that you inputted into the deal. Cash needed will be $122,000. Your cash almost doubles. You're near $800,000. And honestly, that's a pretty decent cap rate for a triplex in Oshawa, Ontario. So whether you're going minimum down payment under 7%, or you're going all the way up to that 29%, I still think this is a decent deal. If you're looking for more information on this, want to take a walk through, look at what it actually looks like with your specific income, your specific financing, please feel free to reach out to me. You can find me all over social media at Isaiah Henry Real Estate. My phone number and email will be in the description, or you can respond to any email messages that you get from me. It's Isaiah, your neighbor's favorite real estate agent, and I'm looking forward to doing business together. Take care, guys.